Today, we're going to be talking about struggles in the job application process, and we're going to be reacting to some mean Reddit posts about hiring managers. I'm Jen, a career coach and your go-to gal for all things career advice.
And I'm Gina, and hopefully we're going to help some people get their next job.
Welcome to Job Search Stories.
We're both hiring managers. A little bit.
So I think they're going to be talking about us.
We're going to be talking about us. People have a lot to say about hiring managers. Hiring managers get a bad rep.
They really do. I think at the end of the day, they're trying to do what's best, but because the hiring process is a little bit mysterious because every company does it differently, I understand that there's a lot of questions.
Let's read some of these Reddit posts kind of critiquing hiring managers. This Reddit post says, hiring managers should seriously get a taste of their bad treatment of job applicants. I wonder how they'd feel if they got dragged through rounds of interviews only to be ghosted. I also wonder how they'd feel to listen to some pompous person say, we only want the best and you didn't make the cut after 2 technical interviews, a long home study, and a 6-hour panel interview with the team. They're lucky they have jobs.
I've worked with a lot of technical job seekers. I am a career coach, but I specialized in technical career coaching. So I fully understand how extensive those interviews can be. It's not just all behavioral-based interview questions. Not that those are easy on their own, but they're really having to prove their skill sets, and it's pretty draining. So I can fully understand this person's point of view, how they could invest so much of their time into the interview process, and then when they don't make the cut, that can feel completely heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like a hiring manager apologist, but they did have to do all that as well. So what do you think are some major reasons that people get cut at the very end of the interview process when they do have to do all of these assignments and things like that?
There are a number of things that can happen, right? Even though you've made it so far in the interview process, other people have been interviewing as well. So there is always the potential that somebody was a stronger candidate than you. Maybe they answered the interview questions a little bit better than you. How we communicate and how strong our answers are can really impact how qualified we seem. Even if on paper we are completely qualified, sometimes we don't do a good job representing ourselves in an interview. Also, the situation could have changed. Budgets get cut. And so sometimes you could have started an interviewing process and the company had the budget for it. And then down the road, these things take weeks. Maybe the budget got cut or their needs changed.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things, both in your control and out of your control, that can cause you to be cut from an interview.
Sorry. I'm only saying that because I've hired people. I feel bad. But
I think you feel personally attacked right now.
No, I'm not a hiring manager apologist because also hire me. Okay, now let's kind of show the other perspective. This Reddit post is, I'm a hiring manager. The job market sucks, and I've interviewed lots of candidates who have applied for hundreds, thousands of jobs and been out of a job for a year. Many long-term unemployed candidates come through our hiring process, and we do give them the benefit of the doubt. Once they become comfortable during the interview, they start sharing way too much about their job-seeking journey and the low conversion rates to this interview. Don't over-explain the gap on your resume. Just quickly say you haven't found the right job and move back to your qualifications. Change the topic. Don't ask me questions. Keep the conversation going. Act like you own it. Don't make it a pity party. Thanks, and please downvote. The comment says, going to downvote, you're the problem hiring manager.
Even though I think this person delivered the message in the worst possible way you could possibly deliver something.
Yes.
And knowingly so. I mean, they're openly asking for a downvote. They know what they're doing here.
We all know what Reddit is. We all know what kind of space it is.
That's like my place.
It is.
But there is some good advice in there. I know
agree.
You kind of have to dig through it a little bit to find the positive. What this person is saying is that if you got to address a gap, do it quickly. You don't have to give all of the information. You control the narrative. Be prepared to speak to it briefly and then move on. You want to change the subject as quickly as you can to why you're excited about this particular role and shift that focus back. So completely understand what they're saying, even if I don't agree with the delivery method.
You've talked about how you need to sell yourself in an interview and how this is your time to brag. So you probably shouldn't be complaining to the hiring manager.
They don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And they're empathetic. That's kind of what it
I mean, they understand, right? Like they understand it's hard, but they just want to know why you're a good fit for the job.
Yeah,
Like, just tell me that.
Yeah. What problems do you think hiring managers are facing, especially in situations like these that aren't really being discussed?
I think sometimes we think of hiring managers evaluating people not as people, like they forget that candidates are actual human beings, right? And at the end of the process, all they're trying to do is to find the right fit for the role. And so when they're evaluating right fit, that could be the assessment of skills and experience. They know what attributes somebody needs to be a good fit. And that could be for the team, for the company. It's a mix of skill set and personality sometimes. Sometimes they're not the only decision makers. A lot of companies do panel interviews. And so there's usually more than one voice in the room. So there's just a lot of different factors that can impact the decision that's made in terms of who's being selected for a position.
We have talked about this quite a lot, but when you're going through a lot of rejection, you then start getting that job search fatigue. So I have another post that I want to read to you from Reddit.
Okay.
This post is titled, "Losing Your Job is a Spiral. The Things They Don't Mention." Losing your job literally lowers your quality of life to the point of not being able to do the same things you did before. With a lower quality of life, your mental starts to fade. With the lower mental ability, it affects your want to fill out job applications, hoping yours will be even viewed or get a reply back. I had high hopes during the first couple of months, but now I'm only filling out a couple of applications a day. First, can you describe what job search fatigue is?
So job search fatigue is essentially the physical and emotional exhaustion that you feel resulting from a prolonged job search. It really kind of comes because you're applying to a lot of jobs, you might be going through a lot of interviews, and there's also just the financial stress, especially if you've been in the job search for a very long time. All of this can lead to symptoms like depression, irritability, lack of concentration. So it is very much a real thing that people can feel. I mean, Gina, I know we've talked about this before, but when the team that I was on, the whole team was laid off during the pandemic. I know I experienced this and the people that I worked with experienced this, but we found ourselves developing some really unhealthy habits, which I think can be easy to do, right?
Coping.
You kind of sitting in that mental state for a bit, but there really are some healthy habits that you can adopt, which can help you get through that struggle.
How should they handle or bounce back from job search fatigue?
Firstly, it's really good to mentally reset. Really think about what type of job you are looking for, because sometimes we can find ourselves in a position where we're just applying to anything and everything.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the frustration can come from, because it might be applying for jobs that we're not qualified for, that we really wouldn't even want to do. Kind of taking that step back and resetting your own expectations for what you want to do. And then you can set SMART goals. So these are those specific time-based actionable goals that can help you maintain your progress. And so these don't have to be big. It could be something like applying for one job a day, or maybe even finding a new tool to help you automate your job search. Just something that's going to help you. And then you really just have to practice some self-talk and give yourself some self-care, because it is emotionally draining. And sometimes you just have to take a break. Just shut that computer.
How do you overcome that mental anguish of losing your job?
First, it is really helpful to practice some positive self-talk. I talk about that a lot, but really understand that there are some things that are in your control and some things that are out of your control. Sometimes people can't even control the fact that they lost their jobs. They might be somebody who experienced a layoff. And so that is really outside of it. So what you can do is just surround yourself with family and friends. It can be really tempting to want to isolate yourself, but being around a good support network can really help you maintain that positive attitude. It's also really helpful to have somebody who can help you stay accountable. And so if you've set those goals, they can help you make sure that you are actively applying and applying for jobs that you would actually be interested in, and not just applying for everything and just seeing what happens.
One part of the job application process that is very interesting to me is filling out your employment history. I think it's actually one of the funniest, most frustrating parts. Why do companies ask you to fill out your employment history when it's already on your resume?
I know like job seekers hate to do this.
It's so annoying.
Most of the time, when a company asks you to enter your work history in addition to uploading your resume, they're really looking to standardize the information.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to the recruiting software that they're using. So if they upload the resume, that's being parsed by an ATS, and that's going for the recruiter to look at. But they also want to log the information within their systems and kind of compare candidates side by side, because every resume looks different. Some resumes have information that others don't. And so being able to kind of upload that into their system puts it into a standardized format.
Make it easier for me.
Okay. Yeah, you really are the voice of the job seeker. It should be easier.
I have a friend who's done something like this. What if you just put "see resume" in that section? Because you were like, no, you can read my resume.
Skills, see resume. Work experience, see resume. Education, see resume. They are probably not going to interview you. You're probably not
I'm going to get that tattooed on my forehead.
See resume. You're more than likely not going to move on into the next stage of the hiring process if you put see resume in all of the boxes in the job application.
It's just not fair. Do you feel like the job application process will ever change? I mean, it's changed a lot. You have told me that. You've educated me on what it used to be like.
Absolutely. We've evolved so much. I mean, yes, I've been in recruiting for a very long time. Like, I'm so old. I was there when they rolled out the ATS. And it's true.
Like I used to have to write it with the pen.
I used to have to manually put in the information from a paper application into the hiring and recruiting software. So job seekers doing it save people like me time. And for that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry the work got pushed off to you.
They're like, we don't want to do it anymore.
We want to do it. You do it. But in terms of changes that are happening in the job application process, some of the trends that you might be seeing, virtual recruiters, a lot of companies don't even have real recruiters anymore. You're just interacting with AI. Some are much more transparent about their interviewing process and what the hiring timeline really looks like. That's a positive thing that we love to see. Some of the changes that I'm really looking forward to that are rolling out are things like pay transparency, where companies are more open about what they have budgeted and can pay for specific roles, and skills first hiring. So being evaluated on the skills that you have and not the more traditional criteria like work experience or education.
Things are changing, and hopefully they just get easier for people like me and get harder for people like you, aka recruiters.
We want to make it better for the job seekers, for sure. Job seeking is hard enough as it is. Recruiters can see your resume.
Yeah. Sometimes job applications, there are some really wacky questions on them to me.
Yeah.
I want to show you some posts from Reddit that share some of these questions. I want to get your thoughts.
Okay.
So the first one reads, you've been given an elephant. You can't give it away or sell it. What do you do with the elephant?
Who's giving away elephants?
I want a free elephant. Why are companies asking these hypothetical questions?
When you're asked a hypothetical question like this, a company is really trying to understand what your thought process is and get a sense for your problem-solving skills. It's not really about finding a right answer or aligning with them on an answer. It's really about kind of hearing how you think about things. And interviews, and especially experiencing a question like this, can be a high pressure situation. So they're also kind of wanting to see how well do you communicate and how well do you do under pressure.
Yes, understandable. This one's actually not that crazy to me. Next post says, sorry, but what do my parents have to do with my job application in 2023? And the question reads, did either of your parents attend university and gain a degree by the time you were 18? Is there a reason why a hiring manager would need to know this, or their parents' income, their parents' higher education degree?
The company is looking to get some tax credits.
Oh.
So there's something called the WOTC, which essentially stands for the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. And essentially it's this program that gives credits to employers for hiring people from specific groups, essentially some job seekers who have faced barriers in their life. So they're essentially asking you that question to see if you fit the bill.
Yeah.
And if they could get a tax credit for hiring you. A lot of times companies don't ask this question in the application process. This type of information is gathered
in the background check,
post-hire.
right? Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's like you're filling out forms later. They might even have you fill out an anonymous survey. This is a very bold way to get the information.
Yeah, they were bold with it. The next one says, unbelievably intrusive job application questions. And the question reads, thinking back to when you were age 14, which best describes the sort of work the main/highest income earner in your household did in their main job? Why would they need to know that?
Same reason as before, right?
Mhm.
They're after those tax credits. As a hiring manager, I've never seen this many job
Obvious,
postings or job applications that are asking this outright. I want to believe that people and companies aren't like this, but the more posts I see, it's just like red flags
It's very
almost. Like there's just a better way to do it.
So now, to wrap it all up, I just want to giggle with you. I want to laugh. So I want to show you some posts.
Show me.
This one's from X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of getting a job is overwhelming because what if I had to download another 2-factor authentication app?
The worst part is when you have to verify it's you. Like you verify from your cell phone, which is like upstairs or like in another room, and you're like running before it times out to get it.
You like run to go get your phone and you're like, oh my goodness. Okay, next post. I'm so unemployment coded that I went to the career fair and made a friend instead of getting a job. I would do that too.
Okay, but
that's
making
networking.
friends is good. Exactly.
That's
it's
networking.
That
Okay.
could be your introduction to your next job.
True.
Unless they're a career fair goer like you.
Still,
but you know
though.
what? Networking is about the long game.
Yeah. Or they could be your job search buddy.
Accountability.
Yeah. Spin it. Okay. This last says you either get a job by talking to one person on the phone for 10 minutes or doing 8 interviews with 14 people and 2 different edit tests. I mean, they're not wrong.
It really do be like that.
Yeah. It also depends on where you're at in your career. So it just depends, or depends on what you want to do.
The different paths you can take.
Different paths. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Job Search Stories. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. And we're going to be meeting.
No, you're not.
We're not. We're not meeting.
You're not doing
We're
that.
reading.
I shouldn't have read that. My bad. I'm just chaotic. So
You feel it right now in your active job search? Or would like any tips? Nope.
that's
not what you say. Okay.
Some of these ridiculous.
She's choking herself.
Ow! No, it's okay. I was like, I'm so confused. I'm like delusional today.